Just to start, because you mentioned about checking out movies here, we just came to see a movie called The Challenger, which was the last movie Michael Clark Duncan did.
Oh, okay, yes. I liked him a lot. I worked with him. I wrestled him once at a Super Bowl a few years ago. He was doing an interview, and I ran up behind him and jumped on his back. It was a horrible mistake. You can look it up online, what happened to me. He slammed me to the ground. He's a very sweet guy, but he was a giant. And I'm glad that they're releasing his movie. I think all of us, Robin Williams was a friend of mine, and what happened to him, by the way, the nicest man in the world, Robin Williams. But, there's movies that come out after things happen, and that's what we want them to come out. I certainly wouldn't want to be doing something stupid, mess up the 150 or 200 people that worked on the film. And so I'm glad that his film got released. He was a great guy, too.
He was great in his movie.
Yeah, good.
And then stuff like
yeah, what a great dude. Solid dude.
Well, you have a life that some people dream about. You are a working actor.
Yes.
And over 150 credits. How do you keep going, man?
Well, it's funny. When I see George Clooney, the first year, our first show, both of our first shows, 1988, we worked on the first year of Roseanne, and his career's obviously been different than mine, but we always talk about that, we have that thing in common. If I could be George Clooney and be a huge star and do one thing, I would do it, but that's just not who I am, and so, I'm a character actor, I'm a writer, I do all these things, I'm a stand-up comic, and maybe that's more interesting for me, but I just get up and if I'm depressed about or worried I'm not going to work, I say, well, I better do something about it. That might mean getting up and writing something, or you can't procrastinate. I love to procrastinate. You can't wait for your agent to do something for you. That's not going to happen. You've got to make things happen, and a lot of times they don't, but every once in a while, the great thing about this business is that phone rings and it can change your life. I mean, it could happen every day. So you just keep at it, you have to love it, and then now in 30 years I've been doing it, and I'm very blessed.
Speaking of stand-up, that's how you started. You started stand-up.
Yeah.
I used to give it a shot for a number of years.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good job.
Yeah.
But you're still doing it today, decades later.
Yeah.
So what about stand-up you love so much?
Stand-up makes me better at everything, because it makes me a better writer, it makes me a better actor. You get in situations. I'll give you an example. Last week at ABC, you have to get on stage at the end of it's for a pilot, and you have to. And I see all the other actors are nervous because they have to get up on stage in front of the executives. And I'm like, I do that all the time. That's not gonna, And there are times when you're working with people that are amazing, and you're nervous, whether it be Jim Cameron or whatever. You're like, well, but I've gotten up in front of people before, and it's gone. It hasn't always gone well, but I'm going to give my best shot. And so you have that. I love it. You get rid of your resentments. The great thing about stand-up is it doesn't matter what is going on in your life, whether you didn't get this movie or you just had a fight with your wife. For the next 75 minutes, I have to entertain this, several hundred people, because they drove here and they paid here, so I have to hyper-focus on this thing. It's not about me, it's about this thing, and it gives me a relief from the craziness in my head, and you get to do your own material, and you make a connection with people that, you may not get. Last night the people watching the film, I felt like, oh, there's a little connection there, but the whole time we filmed it, we're on a sound stage or we're here, there's not that immediate, you don't know how the film's going to go. But stand-up, you know how it's going to go. And usually goes well, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you got to dig down deep and figure out something else, and I love it.
Well, actually, I had to get one true lies question because you mentioned
Jim
Cameron.
Yeah.
I was wondering, because that's one of James Cameron's funnier scripts.
Yes.
And I was wondering how much of that was improv. You have a lot of those funny lines. I don't know if that was like his script or some of that was yours.
Well, I mean, he wrote a great script, but and that was my first real movie, so I had no idea how big of a thing it was, or how. I assume every movie's like this, and I did, so he let me add. He gave me a lot of leeway. He wanted me to do it his way first, but we had a great working relationship from day one, and I think he thought, well, this is the character I wrote, so let's see what happens. And some of my stuff ended up in the movie, and but if he hadn't written a great script, it wouldn't have mattered, So, but he allowed me to ad lib a little bit, and that was very nice.
Okay. Now let's get why you're here. I mean, how did you end up in the film Any Day?
I got a call, and I was in the hospital. I had a hernia surgery, and I thought my manager said, if they wanted me to do a movie with Mr. Bean, who's a British comedian. I was like, okay, I'll do that, because in 1997 I was supposed to do this other movie with him at Beverly Hills, and I passed on it. And I regretted it because he's so funny. And then it turns out it's Sean Bean, and I'm fascinated by Sean Bean. You know, I like Game of Thrones, and I like his other work, and you know, you see an actor like that, and you think maybe I can learn something from him. And you know, Eva Longoria, I love her; she's wonderful, and Kate Walsh is great. So I knew it was a great group of people, but mostly the director, Russia, the writer-director, who was so passionate about the movie. Like, you know, I could tell that every day I was to go there, and he would be passionate about, because you gotta have one guy that believes in what you're doing at all times. So, I mean, he maybe believes in it too much, but you know, that's what there's certain people that just get a joy from what they're doing, and you lean on those people. And you know, I was like, oh, we're all in on this. Let's just do it and see what happens.
I read online you do teach at acting workshop, and you mean you write, produce that. Yeah. You never really directed. Is there any reason why you never got behind the camera?
I directed one thing, HBO special. Right. I'm waiting. You know, it's like.
You seem like you be natural actor's director.
Well, Dax Shepard, my buddy, has directed a couple things, and Bradley Cooper's another friend of mine who's getting ready to direct. I think I'm sure I will, but I kind of want it to be right. And you know, when you do that, you got to call in favors. So, but that's fine, because everybody else has called me to do theirs. So, you know, I think I would probably be pretty good at it, but it's first guy there, you got to be on top of it. I also watch these other directors, and I've certainly worked with some really good ones and see how they are with people. And some are very hands-on, and some are not, but they all are amazing, and eventually I will do that sooner than later.
Final question: what do you love most about acting?
I like it when it's going, when you're with other actors and there's something happening that just feels bigger than yourself. Like it's just a natural, there's something that opens up and it's just flowing and it feels real and it doesn't feel like a script and it doesn't feel like you are having a relationship with these people, with these characters. And that, when that happens, it's an amazing feeling.
All right, man, thanks a lot.
Thank you, buddy.
Enjoy the time here.
Thank you.
Challenge we can.
Thank you.
I'd like you to introduce